So as the inner city continues to become more white, as more American Africans are pushed out of their homes and neighborhoods, what we see happening is a dynamic where competing gangs or rival groups, whether it's drug territory or just geographical gang territory, they're now being forced to move into the same residential neighborhoods as a result of the downsizing of the Black community due to gentrification. So let's just say, for example, if I'm part of one gang or one drug family or crime family, and my closest opponent is 40 blocks away, which means I don't have to see them unless I want to. They don't have to see us unless they want to. But with gentrification and the buying up of all these Black properties, raising up the tax value, forcing many Africans into foreclosure, you now have gangs who are being forced to relocate out of this neighborhood, and the only place they can find housing is in this neighborhood, which happens to be a rival gang territory. So it's the intensification of the crime as a result of the downsizing of the Black community due to the gentrification. So once again, racism, systemic injustice is playing a significant role in the rise of Black on Black crime. Economic castration. Why are we not creating our own manufacturing sector and or at least hiring our own people? Number 3, self-hatred. Why are we not creating safe environments where Black people can come and talk and begin the process of healing? We cannot talk about reducing Black on Black crime without talking about addressing the factors that give rise to it. Even when we say stop the violence. But what are we doing systemically to address the causes that give rise to the violence? When we look at the gangs, a lot of that is economically driven. They're fighting over turf to do what? Control their income, to control their revenue. Where are the economic opportunities in the Black community created by Black people? But whenever there's a conversation on violence, they simply talk about more police and more prisons. There is no evidence, there's no research whatsoever anywhere that I have seen that shows more police and more jails reduces crime. It doesn't. But they keep on saying that because that's what white people want to hear. Okay. And Black people are not forcing a change in the conversation regarding the narrative of what needs to happen to reduce the violence. If Black on Black violence is to be stopped, the Black community must stop it. The U.S. government is not going to stop Black on Black fratricide because it feeds so many of its institutions. It feeds the criminal justice system. It feeds the mass incarceration system. It feeds the poverty program industry, which is basically these programs they put in our community to deal with ex-offenders, people returning from prison, single mothers, foster parented children. And all of these are side effects that come from the Black on Black crime. You have children who don't have their mothers or fathers because they're either dead or now in jail. So we can address all of those things by focusing on the schools, the jobs, the healing that is necessary as well. Without economic opportunity, you will never see violence stopped in the Black community. But for example, a lot of our brothers and sisters come out of incarceration. They're often looking for work. I hear from them and they say, if I don't find a job, I'm going to have to go back to selling crack. I'm going to have to go back to stealing cars. I'm going to have to go back to being a stick-up boy because I have to survive. And that's why, to a large extent, the crime in our community is a karmic reaction to the Black community's failure to provide for its own. The fact that you have to look both ways before you open your door, look both ways before you get into your car. The fact that we're dealing with epidemic levels of carjacking in the Black community by our youth, you know, the intensification of the Black on Black self-inflicted genocide. All of this is a karmic debt that has come back to revisit the Black community because we have not looked out for our youth. So the people who are terrorizing the Black community are the very same young people who we did not think about 10, 20 years ago.